I would like to go over the science in the news assignments. So there are two, one on complex inheritance, one on cytogenetics. Together, these two assignments are worth 15% of your grade. That means if you have a 0 on one, your total grade is decreased by 7.5 points, okay? So it's imperative that you complete both of these assignments correctly. So as with most written assignments, you'll see that there are assignment sheets that go with each of them. They're very similar. You just have to change different topics. But what you're doing is finding an article published in the last 5 years. This has to be a primary or a secondary source only. I'm going to go and show you the difference because it cannot be a review or an informational. Those are not acceptable as it says here. You also are not giving me just an overview of the assignment or of the article. That's a very small part. So I want you to tell me about the article, where you got it from, name, all those things. But you also have to tell me about what disease is it, a brief synopsis of it. So what did they do? Why did they do it? What did they find? What's the implications of it, right? Why did you pick it? So your personal connection to this article or this topic. What impact does it have now? What impact can it have in the future? Okay, so those are two-part questions. What is it doing now? What can it do in the future? And then, are there any political or moral aspects of it? Okay. You have to have an answer for all of these sections. No, there's no political or moral aspect is not an answer. It's not an answer. Okay. And if you think that is the answer, then you need to give me a great explanation. There's no political or moral explanation because blah, 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 blah. Not one sentence. Okay. That's 15% of this assignment grade. Then you also have to go over and read other people's comments. So this will be posted as a discussion, and so you need to go and read what other people have read and wrote about. This way, it keeps us with some accountability in our peers, building community, as well as informing us all. So not only will you be knowledgeable on the topic you chose, you will also gain more knowledge on the topic that two of your peers chose. Okay? So some things to note here. So I've listed some articles that you can look here. Okay, I go to Science Daily quite often. These are all secondary article sources, which I figure will be easier for you to read. So if you go to Science Daily, this is just one article I chose here, and okay, you can have different topics and things to choose. So this is one of the first ones I picked on their home site, but you have to make sure that it's related to the topic. This is what you consider a secondary source. This was written about a primary source. You see the topic, the date, the source that it came from was University of Washington. That's not who wrote this story. That's about the story that they're writing on. And then this is a secondary source. It's telling you what they wrote about, how they did it, why they did it. It has some quotes from people who actually worked on the paper. Okay, this is a secondary source. At the bottom here is the primary source. This is where they actually got this information. So everything in this article is written about this journal reference. And then for citing this actual page, here's the information. So here's the citation, which is a part of what you're turning in, right? It asks for the citations here. That's listed on your secondary source on Science Daily. But you have to make sure it's about an article, all right? So a primary source article, which you will go to something like PubMed.gov, is here. And it usually tells you everything. If it's a primary source article, you need to make sure there's an abstract, introduction, most importantly, results. Okay, if it's a primary source, it has results. Some people go to PubMed and they get reviews. So this is a review. They usually tell you somewhere in it that this is a review. It can be written up here. It can be mentioned in what they're talking about, but you know that it's a review. And as you're going through, you see background, and then you see different methods, or sorry, different things that they are investigating, but you don't see a definite results section. Okay, so this is a review. This is unacceptable. It's either a primary or secondary source, not a review. And what is definitely not okay is an informational. So if you're just looking like, oh, I want to learn more about this topic, that's all something like this is telling you. This is not okay. Okay? So in order to do this assignment correctly, it has to be a secondary or a primary source. This is a secondary. Make sure it is about something that tells you what their research was in here. Like a team led here developed a laboratory test that can measure, and it's telling you about what they did. Whereas in a review, it's just going to give you information about a topic, but not necessarily how they did it. And that's a key difference. Okay. And then if it is a primary source, then this is written by the researchers. It has a definite results, abstract, methods section, and it's going to tell you. So if you have any questions, please let me know, but it is imperative that you find a secondary or a primary source. It's imperative that you read over the assignment sheet and that you give exactly what is being requested of you, because your grade depends on it. So if you go to the bottom of the sheet, you'll see the rubric. Pick it up. The rubric tells you what your grade is based on. And when I grade these, I pull up the rubric and I make sure that everything I asked for is included. Okay, so did you give me a heading? This yes or no? Did you tell me thoroughly explain, not say, oh, the trait is Alzheimer's, it affects the brains. Okay, so it has to be more. Are you telling me why you chose it? And all of these is explanations. Okay, I'm asking for explanations. What is it about? Why did you choose it? What impact does it have? Did you respond? And this is meaningful. 5 sentences here, not, oh, good article. Okay. Oh, I like the way you did that article. No, like, make me feel like you actually read it based on what you wrote. Oh, your article about so and so was informative because, or you included such and such. Okay. Make sure you proofread it. There's no errors and things. Make sure you have citations where you need citations. Okay. Good luck.